Alright, what's up, y'all? Sunday morning, filming a video. Just did some racing yesterday. Logan had Logan driving Hank. I was driving the Black Sheep up at Piedmont. I haven't really done just kind of like an update video of what we got going on at the shop and everything like that. So I wanted to just talk to you guys and let you guys know what's going on with everything, with the shop, with life, with the cars. What are our goals? What are our intentions? What are we trying to do here? I've gone back and forth a little bit between doing daily uploads and doing just uploads kind of randomly. I was really shooting for every other day, which I enjoyed. It gave me some more free time to get moved. That was like the big thing. It really took us like 2.5 months to move all of our junk from one shop to the other to get completely out. And we're still over here making upgrades to the shop, kind of customizing it to be as efficient as possible. So we're over here in Benson, North Carolina now. We moved from Erwin, which is about a 20-minute drive closer, right next door to Glot Motorsports Park. We're actually in an old dealership, so it's got a showroom. I'm in like the office area right now. It's got a absolutely massive parts area. We have one section of the shop that is storing a tool truck, which I'll speak about a little bit later. We got some badass tire machines, and then we got the shop area, which is full of the race cars, and then we got the back part of the shop area, which is just filled up with kind of like junk right now. We got our plasma table set up in there, some brakes, some like actually like legit hardcore fabrication stuff. And there's a paint booth that is filled up with parts for a yard sale that we're going to be doing. So a lot bigger shop. I think it's set up a lot better for us. We have way better part storage, way more organized. It's easier to find stuff, be more efficient. So very, very happy. So that's pretty much what's going on. That's our timeline from, I guess, the last time we kind of spoke and had like a sit down video till now. We're rolling into hurricane season, so if you guys are interested in doing storm work, johndocrecovery@gmail.com. It is a very good money-making opportunity. It's not a full-time job. You have to have a 3/4 ton truck, but as far as like a race car fund, a way to get your money up, I don't know of any better way to do it. Also, if you do want to do it full-time, the opportunity is the same as mine, you know, where if you want to go out there and really, you know, turn 6 figures a year and do this full-time, the opportunity's there. It's an open door. I give everyone the same opportunity, that's given to me, and all you have to do is run with it and put a lot of effort forth and be obsessed with it and try to grow it. So if you want to change your careers, if you want to, I mean, change where you are in life, I mean, it is an amazing opportunity that is literally all in the palm of your hands. The destiny you control, and that's how a lot of things are in life. But the storm business is as cut and dry as it gets. The harder you work, the better you do, the more money you make, and that goes with anything really. So yeah, if you guys are interested in the storm work, send me an email, johndocrecovery@gmail.com. Myself or David will respond to you. Just inquire about the storm work. You gotta have a 3/4 ton truck, pintle hitch. I supply transfer tanks. Other than that, it's all on the job training. So enough of that. Let's get talking into what this video is about. So I'm going to show you guys some like data logs and stuff from this past weekend, but you haven't seen the video of racing yet. So I will, I'm not going to tell you what pass or anything like that, what's going on with it, but you'll just see it and look at the data, and we'll talk about it, and I'll talk to you guys where my head's at, and you guys tell me where your head's at, and, you know, just kind of like, we just throw it all on the table, we look at it. You know, the one thing about information is there's no bad information. You can look at all the information and people's opinions and recommendations, and you have to judge yourself which ones are good and useful and you want to use. So that's how I view everything. I learned that as a golf professional. You'd be up there hitting golf balls, and you'd have some 90-year-old dude who can't even get the ball off the ground give you some advice. Well, you don't know if he was a all-star back in the day, so you got to listen to that advice. You can't just not listen to it. And then you might have some guy that hits the ball pretty well give you some advice, but he doesn't know what he's talking about, so you got to listen to it, and you have to decipher which is useful information or not. And I feel like that's the same with drag racing. It's really the same with anything. You have to be an open book, be able to listen, not do any of that stuff. So tuning, I guess. Let's go to tuning. The way that I tune some things are, I get the fuel and all that stuff dialed in, usually take it to like the hub dyno, Kevin Mullins. You know, the silver car I was working on by myself. Paul Powell helped me out with that. Devin Vanderhoof helped me out with that, just learning how to actually tune as far as building a fuel map. But most of the cars, and for what we're going to talk about today, the fuel map and the timing map, they're already locked in, so you're not messing with it. So you're doing power management, not really tuning. I guess power management is part of tuning, but you're doing the power management. So we took the Black Sheep out to Piedmont, and we went out there, and hot track, first round is the hardest round to get down. You have to be fast. You have to manage the track. The track is going to be the worst it's going to be all day because it's usually in the heat of the day. If you make it past first round, you know, an hour or two goes by, the sun goes down, the track really gets good, then you can start throwing the power at it. So first round's all about survival. You just have to get through first round. Once you get through first round, it's a lot easier, in my opinion, to go racing from there, because then you can, the hot rods really start showing. But first round, you have to really make sure that you get your tune up right. So we went out there, and the track was a little bit difficult, and I made some power management tune-ups, changes, everything like that, where I pulled power out of it. And I'm going to show you guys the laptop. I'm not going to do like put the screen over the computer. I'm just going to show you guys what we have going on. And there's a broken screen on my computer now from the Hot Rod Power Tour, so I'm actually going to go to a new laptop today, so don't judge me on this, but it's not ideal to have this big black hole on my screen, but you know, we're just going to work with what we got here, and yeah. So let me pause this. We'll get you guys set up right here so you guys can see what we're doing, and we'll look at it. All right, so this is the tune-up that I want to talk about, and I want to talk to you guys about my take on tuning and everything like that. So I guess before we really get into this, let me turn the camera around for just 1 second. I guess to answer a lot of questions about tuning. And I see it in the comments, a lot of people asking, like, where's Matt? What's Matt doing? So I actually did speak to Matt recently, and he had, like I mentioned before, he picked up some contracts doing some work in South Carolina, and he's just been so busy, he doesn't have any time to do any sort of racing or anything like that. If things change and I get free and come down and do some racing, that's great. But at this point, I've been kind of messing with the Holley stuff for like a month now, and I have learned that I've been doing myself a disservice by not being hands-on and messing with it and making the changes myself. So I've been racing for like the past like 7 or 8 years, I would say, and I've always had someone do the Holley stuff for me. I look at the data logs with them, but as far as making the changes in the Holley, they would always do it. So if I became dependent on people, and it's not something that you really want to happen because you kind of feel like helpless at the time. I don't anymore because I know how to do all the changes. Now, as far as learning what changes to do at the right time, I'm in that learning phase, which I'm okay with. So when you see me go out there and knock the tires off all day, I'm learning, and I understand that, and I'm okay with that, because I'm starting off fresh, really. We put a brand new converter in the car, which changes everything, and I have no data. So I'm building my encyclopedia of data, so I know what changes to make when and what tune-ups to put in with what conditions. So I think a lot of people don't really understand that that's what's happening. Like, when I go out there and I test and I hit the tires all day, like, we went down to Darlington with the black car, and I hit the tires all day, and finally at the end of the day, I'm like, dude, I'm going to take out so much timing, the car's barely going to move off the starting line, and it goes a 109.60 foot, and I'm just like, what? I would have never expected that, but that just shows you how far off I was, and I don't have a frame of reference until I have that happen. So for me, I really, really, really enjoy going to the track. Even if I knock the tires off all day, you guys will notice I don't really get frustrated. I'm not really mad. It's just kind of, for me, I'm just learning, and I understand that I'm paying my dues. So I'm a knucklehead from not doing this from the start. When we first went to the track, like when we got the bad apple with the 8.2 deck motor, I should have been messing with all that stuff so I could learn, because now I'd have 8 years of experience. Instead, I have a few months of experience. I have a lot of knowledge from being around it, but actually doing it hands-on and saying, hey, this is the change that has to happen right now to make the car do this, to make the car go down track. I'm learning that. So it is not, you know, I'm okay with it. I'm learning it. A lot of guys at home, they hate and they talk smack. The only thing I could say is, dude, you just got to get you a car that goes just as fast and try to figure it out on your own, just like I am. I enjoy it, but there's definitely a learning curve to it. And I will say this, like, no one, it don't matter the cost, it don't matter the time, it don't matter the effort. I will maximize all three of those to become successful in this. I don't really want to do anything unless I'm successful, so I will work harder, I will test more. If it takes different parts, I'll buy the parts, put them on there, because I don't want to say I'm consumed with success and winning, but I like to win a lot. So, all right, let's look at this data log and let's talk about it. And as I'm talking to you guys about it, I'm figuring out new things. So this is a pass, heat of the day pass. Track, I'd say marginal. Tire pressure, 14 pounds, 14 and a half pounds. We're on a 14-inch wide rim, so that's pretty standard. The car is known to work well. It's got 5 inches of separation, like 5 on the dot, I believe, is where it tops out. So tune-up wise, power management wise, we're pretty soft. Overall boost wise, again, we're pretty soft. We're not running a whole lot of boost like we have in the past. For instance, when we would go out there and run our 412 pass, we're running 55 pounds of boost. I think here we're running about 36, 37, 38 pounds of boost. So quite a bit tamed down from that. But the car still works really fast. This new converter makes it extremely efficient. So let's get you guys set up here. So we'll look at this and we'll talk about where I think I made some errors. But now looking at it, I'm like, oh, I know from here on out. All right, so I apologize for this black blob here. The screen's broken. I gotta get a new laptop. So here we are on the chip. One thing I do want to talk about is look at how consistent this guy is on the chip. The Black Sheep has always been known to be like this, where you can spark high for our 2-step rev limiter. Boost, very, very low on boost. So you can see this right here, this pink is our time and retard. And we're targeting, I think, 7 pounds of boost, 7.5 pounds of boost. So once it hits that, it puts the timing back in, and the timing is steady. It's not like the turbo is so large it struggles to make that boost, and you have to seesaw. You don't have the timing going back and forth, trying to maintain that boost. Once it makes it, kind of makes it. You'll notice that the RPM is... See, this is one thing I don't quite understand. I'm set at 4,200 RPM on the lead, but it is just locked in at 4,000. I mean, it's changing 50 RPM, like maybe less than that. Yeah, right at 50 RPM, it's seesawing. So I had 4,200 in there, but it targeted 4,000 for some reason. I don't really know. We don't use a 3-step or anything like that. But the boost, look at the boost. The boost is just dead on, literally a flat line at 7.5 pounds. So very consistent on the start line. I feel like it's important to be consistent. If you have your RPM swinging 200 RPM and you have your boost swinging, if you leave on the low, it's different from leaving on the high. So pretty happy to see that. You'll notice here when you click the button, it jerks timing out of it. So this pink is timing. So we try to treat a lot of the cars like blower cars, where we try to make a bunch of boost and do all the power management with timing. And I think you'll see, we'll remove the green, which is TPS, because we don't need it right now. Boost, so red is RPM, blue is boost, and pink is timing. So if you see, let me get this out of the way here, 7 pounds of boost. This thing makes boost very, very quick. So I have it zeroed out. So 0.9 into the run, we're making 28 pounds of boost, which I'd say is pretty healthy. The car would usually make more because I pulled a lot of boost out of the start line. So previously, we'd leave on 12 pounds of boost, do everything with the timing retard, and 0.5 into the run and make 30 or 40 pounds. Being that we're starting lower, you have a longer ramp of boost to come in. Now, this is just natural. This is what the turbo will make. The turbo is just making it. I don't know where it says target. I don't know if I have target dome on this one, but we'll go look at that here in a second. As you can see, we're pulling timing out of this sucker, and timing is dropping as boost is increasing, boost and RPM. So we're pulling some pretty healthy amounts of timing out of it just to get the car down track. Ignition timing, yeah, we're down to 16.3, 16, 15. The car's doing good, right? But as you can see, right where it stuffs the timing back into it, like, see, there's my problem. I'm going from 16 degrees of timing to 21 degrees of timing. That could be like 300 or 400 horsepower. Then to 25, it kicks the tire off. So it kicks the tire off at 30 pounds of boost. 21 degrees of timing is where it lets go. That's probably an issue, cramming timing in all that much, that quick. I don't know how much 1 degree of timing is horsepower-wise. I mean, it might be 50 horsepower. I don't know. It might be more. And then you have to pedal it, and you have to, here we're making peaks at 40. It really falls down to 36 pounds of boost out the back. So, yeah, this is what we're looking at when we're looking at the laptop. See this right here? I think this is an issue, the way the timing's coming in. Also, there's a couple things that I've noticed is when I lowered this boost down, I took a lot of nuts out of it, and I'm not really like shocking the tire. Like when I release the button, it doesn't instantly put that wrinkle on the tire. The car rolls out a few feet, and then it starts to wrinkle the tire. And that's what happened here. Really, is it didn't spin the tire, but it wadded it up, and it started going into tire shake. So that's not ideal. If we go and look at the G meter. You can see red is now TPS, where you have to pedal it and come out of it. Rear shock travel. VPS. Let's take TPS out of it. Alright, so we have RPM in the green. The light green is G meter, and the blue is shock travel. Ideally, right, you see here, this is the shock topped out. Let me scroll back down here so you guys can see the number. Here's shock travel, 5.06 inches. That's topped out. That's where the shock, it will ride rigid down track like that. I mean, you can see it's I mean, there's a little rubber bump stop in there, so it's on the rubber bump stop, just going back and forth. I need to change my wastegate out because that piston-driven wastegate does not like dome pressure. I need to get a Turbo Smart wastegate on there. It's got like a JGS junk. Also, the hot side's cracked. We're gonna fix that. So shock wise, I'm looking at time when I'm topping the shock out. So I'm not quite topped the shock out, but I'm very close, and that's 1 second. So that's a little bit quick to top the shock out. I'd like to top the shock out at 1.4. So right here. So you pretty much lay this line down. It's just this car likes to top the shock out at 1.4. If you get to topping it out sooner than that, it is not a happy camper. So the shock travel, I think I was a little bit loose, and that's my mistake. I went underneath the car before I made this pass, and I took 3 clicks out of the shock. In hindsight, I probably would have only taken maybe 1 out of it to loosen it up. And you can, a lot of times, if the track is okay, you can get down with the shock being a little bit tight over it being too loose. Too loose, it has that inertia where it pops the back of it up and unplants the tire, and you'll spin. We don't really have a wheelie issue with the shock travel, so we're solely using it to plant the tire. But you can see here in the G meter how it's super lazy off the button release. G pulls 1.2 Gs, and then it keeps climbing, where you really want it to be a lot higher off the button release, and then still have it climb a little bit, but you want it much higher. 1.2 G off the start line. I mean, really, it's 1.1 G. That is out in left field. It needs to be way more aggressive on the start line. And then as you see, when power comes in, it's coming in pretty strong, 2.3, 2.35, and then right here's where it starts to rattle the tires, where right here, this little dude right there is where all that timing comes back in. So it tries 2.65 G, and then it kicks the tire, or sorry, 2.7 G. And then it kicks the tire right after that. So I think I was a little bit too aggressive with the power. Also, when it knocks the tires off, it forces the car to separate. So maybe I wasn't that far off with the shock data. I think just having the power change come in, it was tighter down here and looser up here, where if I had more power early, it would have been way too loose of a shock. So I should have had more power in it early, a little bit tighter shock, and then more boost overall. So Again, I'm learning. This is stuff I just come in here and I sit and look at this, and here's our launch retard pulling timing out of it. We got 10 degrees out of it, and you can see it just comes in way too quick. So a little bit aggressive on the launch retard. So one of those things where you just got to make laps and figure it out. I think I know kind of where I'm messing up, where I'm too soft early. I'm too aggressive with the timing coming in, and because of that, it's impossible to get the shock right. So we want to click the button and have way more G early, still have it peak, and then try to carry that peak G out, where we're topping the shock out. We want to top out at 1.4, and then be more, I'd say, smooth with the timing coming in. That's something that's just going to have to happen with making laps, so I plan to test here soon. But like I said, every single pass I make, I'm gathering more and more and more data, and I'm looking at all the data logs and everything like that. As far as like the health of the car, the engine itself makes extremely good oil pressure. Fuel pressure is right where it needs to be. Really got no issues, no concerns with anything. I mean, it's making 70 pounds of oil pressure going down track. Fuel pressure is 140 pounds. I mean, oil pressure never falls off. Not really much more you could ask for there. If you have any questions, concerns, recommendations, anything like that, you know, just holler at me, drop a comment, let me know. I'm like I said, I really enjoy learning, figuring this stuff out. It's just a learning curve to it, so we're gonna keep learning, we're gonna keep figuring it out, we're gonna keep trying. So I appreciate everyone's support. I think I messed up a little bit on this one, but it's a lesson learned. I won't make that mistake again, and I know to test where I need to start off testing, and hopefully, you know, I think I made some issues. I think I've had some issues when I test where I didn't even know like what frame of reference to start with. Now I have a pretty good understanding of where I need to be when I start. So I feel good about everything here going forward. So thank you so much for watching, guys. If you guys haven't already, go down and click that subscribe button. We got some racing coming up, some testing coming up, giveaway opportunities coming up. We're going to deliver the Trans Am to the winner, and yeah, we pretty busy, but that's how we like it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like always, comment, like, subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next upload.